Okay? I will start on the top line of Nun Hey. We went a little bit further, but up on the top line. So the Rebbe is concluding here, from all the discussion, that Avedus Ha'odom is to unite, correlate Havaya and Elikim. Because the Odom thinks and he acts and he primarily relates to Shem Elikim, to everything that a person touches has a precise definition, very finite, very limited, and it actually claims to be a Metzias unto itself. And his avodah is to show and to recognize that this little thing is actually a means of revealing the Shem Havaya. And the highest in it is the Shem Havaya, not that comes through it. And this is true regarding everything. I mean, in Yonim of Torah mitzvahs that he does, to recognize that there is a highest, the primus achayes in Torah mitzvahs, that happens, but even in Gashmias, like we always give Misholim from Gashmias. Why we give Misholim from Gashmias? Because the Gashmi, the Moshel is really correct. The Gashmi has a highest Salaki also. This is why it's a Moshel for higher things. It's a proper Moshel. It's not just an invented thing. Oh, let me correlate two things that are not related. They're absolutely related. When we say, for instance, we speak about the table, we say, there are different levels of how you understand, the origin of the table. This is correct, except it's at a much lower level. This is how it is in the table, and this is how it is in the whole world. This is the principle to show, to be miyachad Havaya Elikim, to show how Shem Havaya is revealed through the Shem Elikim. Like for instance, when we say 2 times 2 equals to 4, that's an entirely physical thing. But the way a human being understands it, it has a chayas in it. It's not just the superficial fact. It has a chayas to it. And the chayas in it says, not only this is a fact, but this is how I want the fact. This is how it should be. Because it should be correct. It should be balanced. There's a certain sense of reality. This is correlating Ruchnis and Gashmis. This is what the Rebbe concludes over here. HaYom, which means God b'nivroim balik bul, Ati b'nivroim, top page Nun Hey, top of the page Nun Hey. Okay? Which means that even Nivroim Baalei Gvul that are really very limited, Yimshok Bohem Oil Havaya. The Shem Elokim makes it possible that the Oil Havaya should be Nimshach in Nivroim Baalei Gvul, Lahavoisum Ulahachayoisum, to make them come into being and to give them chayas, and give them life. Ovechol Mokim Shehu, and any place that he is, wherever he is, Nimshech Lo Shefa Oil V'Chayus M'Shem Havaya. Wherever he is, there is a chayas from Shem Havaya that is Nimshech to him. And this highest B'Shem Havaya, you always try to pin it down and to express what is this highest B'Shem Havaya. That just as the neshama and the guf consists of physical limbs, Ivarim Gashmiyim. And even the fact that I can move my hand, because there's a Gashmi thing, there's a muscle, and there's a bone, and all kinds of different things that are taking place when I'm moving my hand. And from this perspective, moving my hand is no different than when you move a crane, an artificial arm from a robot. It's also moving, you're also picking up things. But there's a big difference. The difference, to understand the difference, is a little deeper, but we see the difference in the fact that if the crane breaks, it's broken. It's finished. There's nothing there. If there is some kind of blemish in the hand, it grows back, it heals. Why does it heal? Why does it grow back? Because the hand has a chayus. It's not a hand only because of the physical makeup. There's a ruchinzik chayus in it. The physical makeup is only a means to utilize, to be a keli for this chayus. But primarily it is the chayus. And the chayus comes through the physical hand. This is why it heals if anything goes wrong. אתה מבין? לא מבין?
יש נקודה מסוימת שלא הבנתי מה אמרת לגבי החיות שבעד שהיא בלי החיות.
מה?
מה הסברת במשפט האחרון?
כשיש איזה פגם ביד, פגימה, אז זה מסרפא. איך זה מסרפא?
על ידי החיות שנמצאת בזה. זה מה די נכון.
זאת אומרת, יש חיות שנקרא חיות היד. כוח היד, כוח התנועה. זה ביד. The hand has a tnua not because it's so constructed, but it has a koyach hatnua from the nefesh. And it's constructed to accommodate. The hand is constructed in such a way that it can receive the koyach hayad. But the ikin is koyach hayad. It is chayz hanefesh in the guf. The same thing is true in the whole world. The whole physical world. And in every level, the Iker is the highest of the Shem Havaya that comes to the Shem Havaya. This is why, taking it in a very global, in a big, macro perspective, the pasuk that speaks about Eretz Yisrael, and the Torah says, "You're going to Eretz Yisrael, going to this land. This land cannot tolerate sin. It cannot tolerate teva, impurity. The land cannot tolerate impurity. And if you behave in an impure way, the land will spit you out. When the land will spit you out. The land is a piece of kashrus land. That's only the surface. The land has a chayas in it. And the land, this land of Eretz Yisrael produces its fruit and its produce, and it gives a place for you to live and a place for you to build your homes only because of how you behave. Now, if you behave wrongly, then the land cannot tolerate you. Spits you out. That refers to the chayas in the land. It's a blessed land, and when you behave properly, the land gives you bracha ad blidai. And if you bring abomination and eva and tumah into it, it can't stand it. It throws you out. The Mazois, and for this reason, therefore, saying that the Shem Elokim and all the Hagbolas are only a means to bring the Chayas from Shem Havaya. Therefore, Tzorich liyes dovu kum miyuchot bo'ei v'chayas Eloki hanishpolei. It is necessary for a person in his avodah to be connected and united and focused and recognizing only the Oyer Chayes Eloki that comes to him, not the Gash, not the Lavush. Lo yal halvushim alomis mitzadatzi. One should not relate to the Lavushim, to the garments, it means the form, that which conceals the Oyer Chayes. Ki'im el ha'oyer ha'eloki ha'nishpa al yodo. One has to connect only to Oyer Eloki that comes through them, through the Levushim and Halomis. Ukmei sheyizboyer mizeh oid l'kamol, as we shall yet explain. V'kasher ho'inyan. And when this inyan, the inyan of the dveikus and the yichud. In other words, this effect, this phenomenon, this experience of dveikus and yichud, of being connected and yichud with the oyer chayas that's in the world. If it comes to him through a nisoyon, not simply but a nisoyon. In other words, a guy comes and says, I want you to deny the Oyer Chayes. And if you don't deny the Oyer Chayes, if you don't bow to my idol, which is essentially saying, if you don't agree that the physical world is all there is, then there's going to be consequences. And the Yid stands up and says, he stands up to the Nisoyin. That means that he has now recognized the Oir V'Chayas that's in the world. Not simply because he likes it, his neshama likes it, his Chayas, his Seichel likes it, his Midas like it. But he actually put his whole koyach into it. Because to suffer the consequences, to be punished and to be suffer is not, nobody likes it. Nobody likes to suffer. Therefore, you cannot choose this thing because you like it. When it's a nisoyan, it's because this is the only thing you need. That's the only thing you know. You don't know anything else. So when it comes to nisoyan, Havei hu bo alidei zeh oid. Then, through this nisoyan, he comes oid legiloi oir elin yoser, to a giloi of even a higher oir. Hainu giloi oir insof shalamayla mehateva. The giloi oir insof is above teva, above nature. Okay. Let us try and understand what this higher oir is. Giloi oir insof shalamayla mehateva. Apiteva, a person wants to live. Even if he recognizes ruchnius, not gashmis, ruchnius. Learning and davening, doing good things, it's okay. He wants to live a normal life. Also, he wants to live. Why does he give up his life, Rahman al-Islam? God forbid if it comes to it, by any side. Why is he prepared to give up his life? It is because he recognizes something which is not even expressed in the life. Life is an experience. You know what experience means? Life is an experience. You know? I learn, I enjoy my learning, I daven, I enjoy my davening, I have friends, I eat and sleep. It's like all experience, all good, very fine, good experiences. That's teva. Even learning and davening is also teva. Because you're learning and davening with his seichel. Seichel is midas. If he can withstand the nisoyan, that means that he recognizes, he relates to something which is beyond experience. Because the suffering is not a good experience. You can't choose that experience. It's not a pleasant experience. That means that he recognizes something which is above teva. Teva is that which is pleasant. So you're drawn to it. But a person is able to recognize the truth that is not dependent on whether I like it or not, whether it's pleasant or not pleasant. It's something which is a truth on its own, the absolute truth, and I know that it's true, and I relate to it, and I want it not because it's pleasant, but because that's the truth. This is above teva. There's no way to explain it at the seichel why you're doing it in this world. Why do you care in this world that things should be the truth? Should be pleasant. I should enjoy it. What else do you want? If you steal, so there are two things in stealing. One is, if you steal, you can get caught and punished and thrown in jail. So you're afraid, you don't want to steal. What if you're sure that nobody's ever going to catch you? Nobody's ever going to catch you. you can steal this money, and you can live a good and pleasant life. And yet, a person doesn't do it. Why? It's an Nisayon. Why doesn't he do it? Because he has a sense of a truth that is beyond the experience. The experience of having a comfortable life and having everything you need. He wants that this experience, yes, experience is good, but only if it comes in a true way, only if it comes directly from Hashem. If it's not in a true way, he can't take it. He doesn't enjoy it. This is Abba Paltiel. There's no way to explain it. Abba Paltiel. It's a deeper seichel, you know. So this is above Tevel just a little bit, because you could sense in the seichel a person cannot face himself that I stole from somebody else. But when a person is actually going above Tevel to the point where nobody is going to suffer, and Hashem, you know, you can't hurt Hashem. What does it mean you hurt Hashem? Nothing. You just don't want to be separate from Hashem even for a second. Why? This is truly above Tevel. That means that this represents in the person a koach ha-nefesh, that is not apiteva, that is not mislavish in the guf. A koach, that's emes mitzadatzmo. And therefore that allows to reveal to him milmaila. Also, HaYom, that's the Ein Sof, that's l'mayla.
We said before in the mind ואם היה גילו שמעבר אמרתי בגבול כמו שהוא שלא ידי שם אלוקים כלל לא היינו מצליחים לקבל כלל. How we can relate to the truth to Shem Havaya and exist? What you said before it.
Okay. Very good question. So what's the answer? The answer is that in this case, when it says above Teva, he does not really, at this time, he does not really have the gil in Shem Havaya. He knows the inyan of Shem Havaya. What he has is the Shem Elokim. But he recognizes that really the true highest in the Shem Elokim is Shem Havaya. Like when we say that if in Eretz Yisrael, if you sin, the land is going to spit you out. Do you see it? You don't see it. If you saw it, then it would be completely different world.
You know it exists, but you don't ask about it.
That's right. And on this knowledge, this is what you are Meshach Nefesh for. This is what you Meshach Nefesh for. With this knowledge that is really ayin, you don't have really a grasp on it. Just know that this is the truth. And this truth means more to you. This truth that you don't understand means more to you than all the experiences of life. You're ready to give up everything. This is why he reaches to this Agilui inside. There is something to be explained over here. Okay, it's very, very subtle. Now, if through the Nisoyon he gets a Gilui in himself, Shalom Aleichem, how is he able to take it then? There is a Gilui Shemamayla Me'Hateva. So how is he able to take it? It should be with normal world. So here we have to really focus in and understand a very fine principle. The reason that the world would fall apart, would be bottled if a Shem Havai is Niskal, is that world, by definition, world means a mitzvah. I exist because I know myself. I recognize my mitzvahs. That's my existence. If I don't recognize my existence, then I don't exist. To have a Gilui Shem Havai, you have a Gilui Ein Sof, in a mind and in a place where I recognize my mitzvahs, it doesn't go. It's impossible. Because mitzvahs cannot sustain such a Gilui. What happens to an Nisoyin is in from people. What happens in Nisoyin is that in Nisoyin, a person comes to a state of existence that is not defined by mitzvahs. I exist not because I am a mitzvah, but because Hashem makes me. This beetle allows the person, makes it possible for him to receive a Gilui in his soul. A motion for this? Huh? Just 1 second. A motion for this in here. And this is a proper motion. Like I said before, a motion. Re'iyah and Shmiya. Sight and hearing. Hearing, you hear one word at a time. Two voices, they interfere, you can't hear two voices. Because you can only hear one thing at a time. You can hear a long, long story for a very long time. But everyone has to be separate in sequence. Re'iyah, sight. In one glance, you see a whole miles and miles around. This which will take you a lifetime to describe all the details you see in 1 second. How is it? How is that?
I don't want to relate to the essence of the scene. Shmiya, you not relate to the essence of the scene. You only get the details, and then you should build the picture. The essence,
I can relate to the essence. The essence is big group. You're a big group. I can relate to the essence. You take a look, I see, 100 miles this way, 100 miles this way, up and down, in one instant. And if I go up a little higher, I see more. How is that? The real difference? The difference is like this. In Shmiya, when you hear because of your mitzvahs. Every sound hits your ear, and you have to think about it. Say, okay, I heard this word, I heard this word, I heard this word. It goes through your mitzvahs. Your mitzvahs is limited, and you can only take things in a limited fashion. The eye does not see that way. The eye is translucent. You know what translucent means? Transparent. Like a glass. Right? It just comes in, the eye doesn't, the ear has to act. The sound hits the ear and you have to move. The eye doesn't see that way. The eye just opens up and the light comes in by itself. Doesn't have to act. The eye sees because it's given, because the light makes him see. It gives it to him, not because he takes it. The ear takes it. When you take something, you can take one piece at a time. Just like you can eat. You can only eat one bite at a time. You can eat a lot, but one bite at a time. If you eat 2 bites at a time, you'll choke. You can't eat. That's Re'iyah. That's Shmiya. Re'iyah is different. Re'iyah you don't see because of your experience, because you feel this thing, that's why you see it. You see it because on the contrary, because you forget about yourself. You don't even know what you're seeing, you just see it. Not through your mitzvahs. When a person allows himself to see, not because of his experience and of his sight, but just, I'm here, whatever there is to see, I see. Even if it doesn't make sense to me, even if I don't understand it, even if I don't like it. It's nothing to do with me, I see the way you think. Then it's no limit when he can see. Because it doesn't get processed through his seichel. Doesn't see it through his mitzvah. This is the similar inyan. When a person goes through an HaYom, then he is no longer a mitzvah. Then he sees things, he sees the lakus not through his mitzvahs, but the way because it's true, because of the inyan of lakus itself. Therefore, he can come and see a yonim from Ein Sof. And he doesn't destroy him. Because he is only a recipient. You understand? He's received it, but not through his mitzvahs. Normally, a person has to verify, and verify has to test things. I know it. How do I know it's true? Testing the mitzvah. But after the Nisoyin, he doesn't have to test anything. He knows the truth, absolutely. He gave his life for it. Doesn't have to make sense anymore. Then he can see the whole truth. This is what the Rebbe is explaining here. If the union from Yichud Havaya and Elokim comes to him through any Nisoyin, then as a result of that, he comes to a Gilui Oyin Yesed, Gilui Oyin Yesod Shelamayla Mehateva. Elokus that is in Teva is also Elokus, but it's in Teva, it's limited. There's this koyach, there's this koyach, there's this koyach. But then he reaches a completely different thing. It's like sight. He sees the whole truth. Because it's true. Not because he sees it. But the Guf Gashmi is potter. That's what the ear is. That's like sight. Is a Gashmi. But he doesn't ask the eye, do you agree? Do you see it? Just like the glass allows the light to come in. The glass allows the light to come in not because it takes the light and brings it in. It's just, you can see through it and the light comes in automatically. The same thing in the eye. You can see through it, the light comes in automatically. If you would have to process it, then it would be limited.
If Dobra Midhaber, it's massive, the Bara Midhaber, so then he's bottle. But if he's not grasping, not massive, when we see it, bottle, so he's not become destroyed.
That's right. But The difference is before Nisayon and after Nisayon. Before Nisayon, he can also see, but he doesn't relate to it because he's still a Metzius. But as a result of Nisayon, he reaches a level of bittul that this seeing is really a truth. He doesn't need any more because he's woken. Like I explained, a child. You see a picture. You show a picture to a child. Picture, nice picture. What's the child going to do? I'm talking about the little baby. What's the first thing the baby is going to do? Put it in his mouth. Why? Because anything that he doesn't taste is not real, doesn't experience. An adult sees it. I see the whole thing. I don't have to taste it. But you didn't taste it. You didn't feel it. Doesn't have to feel it. Because he has bittul, he has a seichel. He's not so limited like the child. The same thing. Before the Nisayon and after the Nisayon. Before the Nisayon, you could see things, but you want to taste it. You want to feel it. How real is it? Is it really true? After the Nisayon, you don't need that proof at all. You're completely past that. You see the truth and it's true, and that's the truth and you relate. No other truth. You don't need to prove anymore. Now, further, after we explained all this, now first we have to explain Shaychus, Inyan V'yodaito, the relationship of this principle, of this V'yodaito, Ki Havayu Hu Elikim, to know this Inyan Havayu Hu Elikim, L'Yitzias Mitzrayim or Knisas Haaretz. How this is related to Yitzias Mitzrayim and Knisas Haaretz coming into Eretz Yisrael. Shalidei Yitzias Mitzrayim or Knisas Haaretz, where as a result of the experience of Yitzias Mitzrayim and entering the land of Eretz Yisrael, Yovei L'Yidiyah Zu, this will bring into this clear knowledge the Havaya V'Elikim Kulachad. That Havaya Elikim is all one thing. The inyan is, how is it related to Yitzias Mitzrayim and Knisas Haaretz? It says in Pri Etz Chaim, the Yisrael shehoyu b'shibut Mitzrayim, that the Yidden who were in Shibut Mitzrayim, hoyu gilguli haneshomes, hoyu gilguli haneshomes shel der ha'aflog. They were the gilgul, the reincarnation of the neshomes of the der ha'aflog. V'hashibut b'chemer bilvein. And this shibut, the subjugation and the labor of Choymer Vilveinim with the mortar and bricks, Hoya Lesakein Chet, it was for the purpose to correct the sin, but he Lohem Halveino Lo'oven. By the Vein HaFlogo, they tried to build this tower. And it says over there because they came to this biko and they saw that there was chaymer. So they said, chaymer is great. For the chaymer will be a chaymer, and from this we'll dry it up, we'll make brick, and we'll be able to build a tower. to the highest heights. And the principle of this tower, we're going to see, was to separate themselves from Hashem. And this Leveino and the Chaimer from the Dir HaFloga, this had to be corrected and perfected through the Shibud that didn't have entered Mitzrayim. So first we have to understand what was the sin of the Dir HaFloga. Hainu v'hinei haflogo hu loshon plukto machloikis. Haflogo comes from the word plukto, separation, argument, machloikis. Hainu, what was the plukto of the hafloga? Shehifligu v'hifridu. They separated Bein Shem Havaya and Shem Elikim. They made the separation between Shem Havaya and Shem Elikim. They said essentially, we don't need a Shem Havaya. The Asara said the Shem Elikim. With the Gashmi. Bein HaPirud Hu. What is this Pirud? Separating Shem Havaya from Shem Elikim. It is Kishachoishev, when he thinks Hashem Elikim Mastir Chas V'Sholem Be'emes Al Hashem Havaya, that the Shem Elikim truly conceals Chas V'Sholem Al Shem Havaya. Umemele Yachshe. And then as a result he will think, Shakol Hanase Bo'ilom, that everything that occurs in the world, Hu Mishem Elikim Atzmui. Mishem Elikim means from Teva. That's what it is. V'hu inyan oz havayas ha'oretz k'meshi yisboir. This is the principle of the thought oz of havayas ha'oretz. And Havaya let go of the world. He created the oretz, a physical oretz, and now the oretz functions logically and naturally on its own. Like we say, the pashtus, the simple thing. The sun rises in the morning and sets at night. This thing that the sun rises in the morning and sets at night, it's a natural circle. Nothing to do with Shem Havaya. Hashem put the sun in space, and the earth, this distance away, and they circle around each other. Whether the earth circles around itself or the sun circles around the earth makes no difference. The point is, it happens naturally. If it happens naturally, what does that mean? That when it comes day, you don't see Hashem's hand in it. You see the sun. Hashem, we say that Hashem brings the sun out. Hashem makes day and night. Boiri and Bomayla. But Mitzat Teva Ha'ilon, you say no. It's true that Hashem created the sun and the earth. But that's it. But then it runs on Teva. That's meant also Havayas Ha'oretz. The creation of the sun itself is a miracle. Everybody agrees it's a miracle. Where does it come from? It came into being. No, it's a mitzvah in itself. And it doesn't have anything to do with God. With God is. And the sun, when it gives light to the earth, the sun is a ball of fire. It's a ball of fire. It doesn't care whether it gives light or it doesn't give light. It doesn't do this intentionally. It just happens accidentally that the earth is in its path of light. Therefore we have light. But the sun doesn't have that intent. The earth also doesn't have intent. It happened to be around the sun, so it gets light. So there is no godly intent in this at all. No kavana elokis. Only teva. And the truth is that something that occurs constantly without change, day in, day out, like thousands of years. And you really don't see the hand of the Creator in it, the hand of a man, So you say that it happens because that's how it happens at the time. You don't see it. In order to see the Hashem's hand, you won't see Hashem's hand in the turn. You see Hashem's hand in the intent, in what is accomplished through it. The sun gives light to the earth. Think about it like this. The sun is a ball of fire, and it gives light, and it shines, and the earth comes in its way, and it gets light. So physically, this is a physical thing, the fire and the earth. That physical thing is totally insignificant. Not the sun knows about the earth, not the earth knows about the sun. What is the most significant thing that happens in this relationship? The most significant thing that happens in this is that there is day and night for the person, for the human being. This defines the life in the world. There's a daytime you go out to work, by nighttime you go to sleep. It's a whole cycle of life. That's the most significant thing. This most significant thing is all ruchnis. It's all ruchnis. There isn't a physical thing that compels it and says this is what it is. So if you want to recognize the ruchnis, then you see, hey, this is what's really happening. If you don't want to recognize the ruchnis, then you say, no, then nothing's happening. It's all physical. So when they want to make a pirud between Hashem Havai and Hashem Elokim, that's what they said. The sun is giving off light. The sun that couldn't care less what happens. The earth gets light, couldn't care less. Who cares? We care. So we take the light of the sun, make it ours. Hashem didn't give us light. Hashem created a sun that does things automatically. So we have to thank Hashem for day. Hashem didn't create day and night. This happened automatically for us. We defined it day and night. So there is no Hashem's presence in the world. This is how you have loga. This is how the separation is. Instead of seeing the chayus, the real significance, you see the gashmi, and then you lose sight of the whole thing. So the Veil HaFlogo therefore he considers the halamas ve'esterim the principle. That's the ikar, that's there. He has to use the halamas ve'esterim for his own purposes. And then as a result, he dedicates himself to the chitzonius, the external, the physical hanhogas ha'olam. And this prevents him from recognizing Elokus. The Elokus, that's in the world. That's not real. That's imaginary. The real thing is the gospel.
What about the hand and the heel itself, what do you say? It's also Gashmi's nature?
Well, the Dei HaFloga didn't know how to do that. But to our day, our geniuses, they figured out how to do this and say everything is Gashmi. The molecules split. How come they split? We don't know, but they split. And and they connect. It's very, very stupid. But that's how when people lose sight of Ruchnis, they can relate to Ruchnis. This is what happens.
It's kind of what they can do. They can take a molecule from anyone they do it or create another image.
Yeah.
If you take
Yeah.
human
But in that molecule there's a Chayes Elokei. They forget about it. Forget. That's why they're able to interchange and crossbreed and do all kinds of things. They said it's all gosh. It's all natural. Just like we said by the Eretz Yisrael, that the land cannot tolerate toeva. They can, if you have seichel, I mean, the person looks at the world with seichel, sees like this. Sees a tree growing on the ground. The tree grew out from a seed from a zera. So Begashmius, it seems that the tree grew from this seed. The earth has nothing to do with it. No koyach hatzim meyak siboret. Koyach has nothing to do with it. The seed split open, and the seed started drawing minerals and vitamins from the earth and water, and it started to grow. Multiply. This is how you're starting this light. But then, if this were the case, I mean, this is how Seichel looks at it, okay? Besides that, this is all not true, but just even as you observe it. When you see the tree standing on the ground, if the tree grew not from the ground, but from the seed, and the ground can't relate to this tree. The tree is like an intruder. It takes up room. You know, it steals the earth's vitamins. There's nothing to do with the earth. Then the tree and the earth would be two separate things. The earth will try to get rid of the tree. The tree will have to fight for its life to stay stick to the earth. Two separate things. It's like this standing on the table. Give a shake the table, this falls. Even this staying on the table accepts it, but it's not. The tree becomes part of the earth. It's perfectly natural for the earth to hold the tree, because the earth relates to the tree. You understand? As a kohen hatzemeya, the earth and tree is one thing. If it were just from the seed, so then it's a foreign object. Just like a person takes in something that cannot merge with him. It always remains separate, and ultimately he spits it out. So the earth also would spit out the tree. But it doesn't do that. It supports the tree. Because the tree, the earth recognizes the tree. This is Koyach HaTzameach. This is my thing. So, if he looks at the Halomis for Hastadium as the Yikir, then he dedicates himself to Chitzenis, and that prevents him from Malkus. This is the exact opposite of the yichud, of the union between Havaya and Elikim. She'ein shum dover masir klal. Yichud Havaya and Elikim says that there is nothing that conceals an Elokus. Ki im adarab, just on the contrary, kol ha'esteirim heim bishvil ha'gilui. All the ha'esteirim are in order to make it possible to reveal the Shem Havaya. To reveal means to bring the Oyer Havaya into the lower world. And that's the purpose of this hell. Just like we say in the kind of the tree with the seed is not concealing is not unrelating to the earth and concealing the earth and stealing from the earth. No. The seed opens up and relates and unites with the earth and shows the Koyach HaTzameach Sheba'aretz. The whole thing of the seed is to show what the earth is able to do. Koyach HaTzameach Sheba'aretz. To reveal the Koyach HaOretz, not to conceal and use it for itself. The seed disintegrates, okay, becomes one with the earth, and asks the earth, okay, now you produce a tree. This is how it works. Not that the seed said, you stay away, stay out of it, it's my business, I'm gonna take what I want. And how do we see it? How is a seichel, a human mind sees it? It sees that the earth and the tree are good friends. They are one. How come? Because the earth produces the plant. Just like You're learning, right? Hard work. How come you're working hard? You want to sleep? You'd rather learn than sleep. Why? But you're learning this outside, these words which are printed on a piece of paper outside of your mind. You're not just thinking to yourself. You're learning something outside. But because this reveals what's doing by you in your mind. You relate to it. So you don't get tired learning it. On the contrary, you get invigorated. It reveals your seichel. It reveals your nefesh. It's not like you're learning something and you have to stick it to your mind, force it in, glue it. No. You relate to it. The same way like a tree relates to the earth. The same way like the whole world relates to Hashem Havaya. And if anything happens in the world that is opposite Hashem Havaya, spits it out. Panemayim?
No? You should.